What's up, everybody? It's Daryl back at it again with another video. In this video, we're going to go over HIMS stock. The stock was once trading at 73 plus, now all the way down towards $30, as low as $30 today, nearly a 60% drop in the matter of a couple of days, even weeks, even months here. So I'm going to go over in this video both the fundamentals of the stock, why the stock has been going down, whether I think now is the time to step into the stock or not. But before I hop into that, I would really appreciate a subscribe from you guys here. I think we are now with about 1,700 of you guys subscribing. My goal for this year is 10,000 and above. So we can go ahead and smash that subscribe button, hit that like button. It's going to help a lot with the algorithm, and it'll help me push forward more videos for you guys on a weekly basis here, maybe even daily at some point. First and foremost, let's go ahead and touch its weaknesses and its threats, go over why this stock has been having momentum towards the downside, and whether I think the strengths of this company in terms of the opportunities that they're currently in within this space is able to mitigate a lot of those weaknesses here. Obviously, the biggest thing in the headlines right now is the collaboration or the termination of the collaboration with Novo Nordisk here. That was a big things that hit the headlines. A lot of it, there's a lot of things that fell through. There was the FDA that sort of came about as well in selling unapproved Wegovy knockoffs using Chinese APIs. And with all of that, that's caused the stock to drop nearly 50% and above, right? With all of this, there's been a pressure in its margins. Gross margins declined to 73% in quarter one 2025 from an 82% in 2024, right? This is the known fact that with a lot of competition coming into the space with like Amazon that's now partnering with Novo Nordisk here. These are significant threats that are going to impact the stock, at least for the short term. So let's go over some of its strengths, some of its opportunities, and whether I think a lot of it, if it's been blown away, right? Obviously, HIMS has a very strong brand recognition. HIMS and Hers remains a dominant brand identity in telehealth here. Its direct-to-consumer model fosters high customer retention, and 82% of its subscribers remain after 3 months. So there's a lot of stickiness with this, right? Because of how personalized everything is and overall the branding of Hims and Hers company here. So there's also with the AI personalization that we talked about, right? MedMatch AI system analyzes millions of data points to tailor treatment plans, improving the health outcomes and overall user satisfaction here. With a subscription-driven revenue model, they have very high, predictable, high margin business, right? The platform houses 1.7 million subscribers, and that's going to allow it to have that consistent cash flow as well as that scalability. They are also vertically integrated with telehealth consultations, prescription fulfillment, as well as their retail partnerships. This is a company with a debt to equity ratio of 0.02 and nearly $200 million in free cash flow. So this is a company with strong financial stability. They have high net margins of about 5.41% and return on equity about 5.68%. And they are strategically expanding their market, right, into high growth areas like weight management, right? This is actually what's causing a lot of the downward momentum in the stock with Novo Nordisk, that partnership falling through, and Novo Nordisk essentially partnering up with its competitors, with like Amazon, with Roe taking over a huge market share in this space here. Overall, though, there's opportunities with this stock, which I do not think is factored into the stock, right? Right now, all you're seeing in the headlines are news about Novo Nordisk partnership with a bunch of different other platforms other than Hims and Hers, and Hims and Hers not pretty much catching into that wave because of that termination of that collaboration there. In terms of the opportunities for Hims and Hers, they are expanding into the European market here. With the planned acquisition of Zava, it's going to accelerate that entry into the UK, Germany, France, as well as Ireland, right? Zava has a 1.3 million active customers and a localized medical expertise here. They've also been with personalized treatment scaling, right? So this is a company acquisitions of Tribe Labs as well as a peptide facility. Peptides are a big thing that the company has been making a point to diversify into instead of just maintaining into GLP-1s. So ultimately, I do not think that's being factored into the stock here, and we'll touch a little bit more into why later here. They've also been raising a lot of capital, right? $1 billion to be exact, funding those AI developments to enhance that personalized journey, ultimately keeping that stickiness, keeping that moat within that company here. And overall, Q1 2025 showed a 100+% year-over-year revenue growth. That is insane growth for a company that also raised 2025 EBITDA guidance to nearly 300 million to 300 to 335 million. So there's many catalysts that's going to affect the stock here. Weight loss momentum with nearly 725 revenue guidance for 2025. This is fueled by 20% price cuts on those compounded GLP-1s, so a lot more volume coming in through. As well as the international rollout via this Zava acquisition. That's going to unlock 200 million adults in Europe, right? UK, Germany, France, Ireland, Spain, and Canada as well, with generic semaglutide. So this is targeting nearly a $1 billion plus annual revenue here. On the technicals, we are approaching very oversold conditions. RSI is sitting roughly around 35. We're going to touch into the chart in a couple moments as well. So yeah, the RSI is pointing in the right direction. Fundamentals are looking great. Regarding industry trends, telehealth booms post-pandemic with a personalized wellness, with weight loss, with hormones, with the peptides, right? 1.3 million United States women hit menopause yearly, which is underserved at roughly around 30% OBGYN training coverage, right? HIMS verticalizes for gummies, sterile compounding, cutting costs versus its rivals, right? Competition is heating up with Amazon and Wegovy, but HIMS' affordability and platform diversity, right, is going to help that de-risking in the company, right? This isn't a company that just sells GLP-1 medications. They've diversified into other wellness medications here. So there's a lot of good things about HIMS, but there's a lot of risk with this company as well. This is a company with very high volatility and overall very mixed sentiment in terms of what analysts or even firms are pricing this company as, right? We have Zacks rating it as a hold. We have Evercore, which is rating it in line with a price of roughly around 33. The stock is hovering around that 30, 32, 33 area. So not much upside, at least from these firms itself. Looking at institutional sentiment, there's 60% bullish compared to 40% bearish in terms of institutional activity. 60% bullish meaning they opened, they increased, or they held their positions. There's some big super investors that have been investing into HIMS company here. Of course, there's BlackRock, Vanguard, JP Morgan, and etc. But we also have Jim Simons here increase his position by nearly over 30% with about a $25 average, about $500 million into this company. So that is no joke. We have an average Wall Street analyst with an average price target about $42, which is a 30% upside from current valuations, and the lowest price target, $29. So not hovering too far away from the lowest, most bearish price target of $29 here. Looking at the company's revenue, year-over-year growth, 50% that was reported last quarter in terms of year-on-year growth here. Free cash flow annually is, like I said, this company is producing nearly $200 million in free cash flow, and they are excelling in a lot of their profitability metrics, right? Return on assets of 9.3, return on equity of 24.67, return on capital employed of 12.95%, and so forth, right? Yes, the margins are compressing, right? The stock was once had margins of over 9.6%. That has compressed to about 6%. We had gross margins as high as 82%, all the way down now towards 75. Looking at the hidden whale data, dark pool activity has been bearish. So that is something to note here. But the momentum has already shifted towards the downside. We are at the lower Bollinger Band here. It's maintaining some bullish momentum in the stock. It could be crossing towards the downside for further momentum. So dollar costing averaging into this position is extremely crucial, not to just go all in, right? So looking at the technicals of the stock, once again, the stock was once, this is HIMS and hers on the daily time frame, once trading around 70 plus, right? Now in the 30s, that nearly a 60% drop. Most recently, we had a gap fill towards $30 essentially, sub $30. And the stock was very oversold at the time. There's an inflection to the upside. We're currently in deeper retracement, right? Stocks hovering around 0.786 retracement, seems to be holding support around this area with a crucial area of demand here, right? So let's just get rid of this Fibonacci retracement. Let's just draw this area of demand. You can see this is a very significant level the stock needs to hold, and this is and it seems to have held in this most recent trading session here, where it just recently filled the gap and essentially now taking a breather potentially, or even a potential reversal in the stock here. So targeting for the stock here, if you're looking for recent highs, it's about a 7% upside if it were to get back to about 34.41 here. Once again, this is a very high risk company. Volatility is extremely high for this company. Do not go all into this company. Layer in your buys here. But I do think there's a lot of opportunity in the stock, at least for the long term. Short term, there's a lot of bearish momentum in the stock right now. Would not surprise me we enter or fill towards the fives. I think a lot of people are expecting this stock to get towards this 26, 25 area before a complete rebound in the stock here. So that's where my eyes are at with HIMS stock here. If there's any other videos you want me to evaluate, shoot that in the comments below. As always, if you guys can leave a subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. And until then, happy trading, guys.